Welcome to this training because here, so you must have a lot of question right now, in your mind, where, how does this whole thing work? How is this ad, this campaign, this offer, this whole system, how it will work, right? So in this lesson, we're going to break down the whole system step by step by answering the following question, right? So we're gonna start off by answering what is a lead, right? And who are they and where do they come from, right? And after that, we're gonna cover our offer, what exactly is our offer and how does the offer work, right? And actually, most importantly, how will it work for you and your business, right? So, and after that, we're gonna break down the relevancy, why is the whole thing important, and the math behind it. Because I don't know if you know this, I'm a math guy. I know that number work. That if you want to prove something, you need a number, you need math, and you need number to back it out. And we're gonna show you the exact math how the whole thing work, right? So. So what is a lead, right? So a lead is a refined audience and your potential customer that, to sum it up in a short word, so these people are not just anyone random from, it's just not any random people from the street that we're just gonna give to you, right? So these people is refined through our filtering system and we're gonna talk about that later. So, who are they? So they are local that live around 5 to 10K radius from your store. So, they are, that's the travel distance that people are willing to travel to your store, right? And also they are the people who put their hand up to our offer, and we're gonna talk about that in the next slide, and we'll show you how the whole thing works. But basically, in a language that makes sense, they are the people who opt in to our ad campaign. So they put their hand up to our offer, right? And where do they come from, right? So they come from Facebook majority, right? Mostly they come from Facebook because Facebook have 2.4 billion active user every month. So it's only fair that, and for Australia, in a for Australia, pretty much everyone is using Facebook, right? So also they come from our funnel and our filtering system, right? And we just talk about that, how they are a refined audience and how they can become your potential customer, because we have funnel and we have filtering system in place, which we're gonna talk about in the next slide, right? So what exactly is our offer? So our offer is look something like that visually, right? It's basically a giveaway voucher. They come in the form of $200 or $250 voucher, right? So it's really that simple. But if you notice on the first picture, the picture on the left, there's a 119 comment, right? There's 119 comment of people, interested in this offer. um the number show itself, the screenshot show itself, right? So in a nutshell, our offer is a voucher that we give away. I'm going to explain how that whole thing will work for your business and how the whole thing gonna flow, right? So how it actually works. How it works is when people see the ad and they're gonna click on something, they're gonna click, get offer or click now or something like that, or book now. They come into a form, and this form looks something like this. So the picture on the left is a form, we're asking them to put in their private info, which is, a full name, email, and phone number, so we can contact them later on. And we also ask them a couple of fun questions to get their brain rolling, right? We're gonna ask them what will you use the voucher for, and who will the voucher be for, right? We're gonna ask them like to get their brain thinking, to get the ball rolling here. And after they click next and submit, they going to a second picture, going to a second page, sorry. They're going to a second page, and we're gonna ask them to mention the Chinese shoe campaign to when they call. So the reason why we have that in place is to keep track of our conversion, if that makes sense. So basically, when someone called your store, they could be just people who saw you on the radio, who saw you on TV, or who just do some online search and they saw you. So we just want to differentiate our people from those people, right? So what happened is when someone rang your store and they said Chinese shoe, your staff or you will know exactly where they come from and what they've been through, right? So they've been through our campaign, the one that I'm explaining right now, and your staff will know exactly what to say to them and how to deal with them, right? So how does it actually work for you, right? Or and your business, right? So there's two ways to it. I'm just gonna break down in a two separate page. The first one is an overquote, and keep in mind this is a recommendation, right? So like you can apply this or you don't. You can just give them a real $200 discount. It's up to you, right? So the first recommendation say is if a job normally costs $1,000, like this, we're talking about jobs here. We talk about remodel, remake, and talking about jobs here, repair and stuff. If a job normally costs $1,000, the jeweler just quote them $250 over quote, right? And then we just gonna get, this is, the job costs 1,000, the job costs 1,200, and we're gonna give you the voucher and we apply it for you. And so the real cost, the discount price is 1,000, right? So this is, a recommendation again, and this is the step one, the first part of how it works, and the second part is a discount of stocks, right? So you're giving them a discount of your stocks, and from my experience as a jewelry store, right, you're selling sort of expensive thing here, right? It's rarely they have a stock that is over 500. That's why we have a term and condition here that say they have to spend $500 over to use this voucher, right? So firstly, they do not get a free money here. They do not get free credit for your store. So it has to be spent on a stock that costs $500 over. And as a jeweler myself, I know that the markup I know the markup for each stocks is like extreme, like 400%, 500%, even 1,000%, right? Even 10 times, right? So what happened is, we're gonna put that in our ad, so we're gonna make it, as transparent as possible for them. So basically, they can use the voucher for jobs and stocks. But number two, if you are not fine, you don't have to do it, right? So with this offer, we know that the business is all different. So we're gonna talk and work with you properly on our onboarding call. So it's not gonna work for everyone, and if you want to make some adjustment or some tweaks, we're gonna have a one-on-one chat through all of our clients uh on the onboarding call, right? So you must be thinking all of this offer, right? It might be so simple or it might be silly. Does it actually work? Well, the testimonial should show itself. We have testimonial from real business owner and real people here, just like yourself. If our campaign and our strategy work for them, it should work for you, right? So I'm gonna leave the testimonial below the video again for you to look at, and this time I'm actually gonna leave you a link to their website to see, to check out their actual businesses, right? So why does the whole thing important? Why should why this is your investment? I want you to see the importance of this, right? And I'm just gonna show you some math behind it as well, right? So why is it important? Because there is a concept that called customer lifetime value, right? The CLV, and to get that value, we have to get an average transaction plus an annual purchase frequency plus an expected year of relationship, right? So we have established that an average sale in a jewelry store is around 2.5K, right? Around 2.5 grand. Given that the lowest sale value of your store is 500 and the highest sales value is 6,000, right? And for the sake of simplicity, we just gonna assume that if a lady come to your store and she buy a ring, she gonna return back 3 times, right? Given that you are a good jeweler, given that you provide real value and real service to the local, and not cheat them in anyhow or any way, right? Eh, um so the math would turn out to be this figure, right? So 2.5 times 3, that's 7.5, right? So I just want you to understand the concept here. If we give you one lead, right, and they come to your store and they buy like a ring or a pendant off you, right? So that means the whole lifetime value of that lady, of that customer, is going to be 7.5 on average, right? Because the number that we're working here again is on the low end. We know that 2.5 is kind of low end for some store, and we know that 3 time return is nothing. Some people return 3 times in a year, like with Christmas and Easter and tax year, tax break or something. So this is a lifetime. So we just gonna put number 3 there and work at the low end on the math here. So if we get you one lead and they come in and then they return, assuming that you have good service, which I know most of you have. That's why we decide to work together. The amount that we bring in here is 7,500 with just one customer, right? And this is just one person spending, this is just one person, by the way. So I want you to understand the whole concept behind this and why we're doing it, and what kind of value that we bring to your business, right? So we know that you can't use the same campaign over and over, or the same offer over and over, because people will get sick or people will get noticed. So what we have is we have a couple of offer that we're gonna switch around throughout the year. What we got here, we got cash for gold, and we got the free design consultation. We also have like rhodium plate and all of the other stuff, like 50% off rhodium plate. But that is the shiny shoe would be the first one that we roll out, and it worked well. That's why it's always the first campaign that we roll out. But don't worry about the campaign. All of this campaign we can talk about in a separate video. But for now, you just have to worry about the shiny shoe and go through the other lesson to know how the whole thing work, right?